Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Senate Education on Tuesday, March 26th. Today we are doing a couple of different things. We are still spending a lot of time, a lot of afternoons and mornings on the Senate floor, moving bills, but we missed the Act 77 presentation. Our House counterparts invited us to participate in one a while back. We couldn't do it, so we have some students with us today, and we're looking forward to hearing from all of you. Then Austin Davis, who is the Director of Government Affairs, Lake Champlain Regional Chamber of Commerce, asked to talk to us a little bit about tax and education issues. And we have an amendment for 220, Senator Renner, and we'll have a little conversation about CTEs, and we'll wrap it up after that. So, Ms. Holman, who is first?
I'm going to be first.
Great, please have a seat.
Sure. And what about our slides? They're not like slides that we can project. Are they in your packet?
We have them in our packet.
Okay. Could you project the slides? I think because everyone prepared to kind of, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So which group? 10 years of Act 77? Okay.
10 years of Act 77, that's it.
You just need to let me know when you want the.
Yeah, I'll just let you know.
We can go until about 2:05.
2:05, okay.
So,
Okay.
great. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Hallman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director at Up for Learning. We're a nonprofit based here in Vermont. And we are here to share with you about an event that happened on December 7th here, but the reason why we had the event, which was to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Act 77 flexible pathways legislation. So I want to just kind of frame it, and then I'll share the goals, and then most of this can be turned over to my colleagues over here, and we also have a video that we want to share with you from the event. So as you know, Vermont, bless you, has been a national and international leader in education. And I want to just highlight a few of the key moves that Vermont made that led to Act 77 flexible pathways in 2013. Lots happened before this, but the place I'm going to start is in 2007 with the publication of The Future of Education in Vermont. And this articulated the vision of the State Board of Education and the then Commissioner of Education. And it identified 5 components of a desired state to be addressed: student-centered learning, leadership, flexible learning environments, engaged community partners, and indicators of success. In 2009, the Vermont legislature developed and passed what became Act 44. This contained the first use of the phrase flexible pathway to graduation and established the goal of a 100% graduation rate by 2020. Still working on that. Act 44 was the basis for the statutory language that would become Act 77 of 2013. Act 77 of 2013 was passed in July of 2013 to ensure that all Vermont students have access to high quality educational experiences that will prepare them for life after graduation. And Act 77 is grounded in what we now know about learning and the brain. The law also seeks to make school relevant to our changing world and ensure equitable opportunities for all of Vermont's youth. So, what did teaching and learning look like in Vermont's school systems that embrace student-centered practices made possible through Act 77 and expanded upon through other landmark legislation in Vermont? Our goals today is to share that. And we want to share the impact that Act 77 has had on the educational landscape of Vermont over the past decade to support deeper learning for our students and school communities. And we want to urge you to recommit to the spirit and intent of this legislation as you think about current and future legislative priorities for Vermont's youth. So I'm going to turn it over to Ethan and Olivia, who are going to lead you through a little activity.
And please know if noise or anything is bothering you at all, we'll just close it.
Great.
Or anything. Please, want to pull up an extra chair?
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
work together.
I'll set up.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Olivia Siri. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, my name is Ethan Seymour. I use he, him pronouns.
So we would just like to ask you guys to think of like a specific meaningful or engaging learning opportunity that you've had in your life, and like when you were maybe most engaged. And just really like bring it to life in your mind. What did it look like and how did it make you feel? So we'll give you a second for that.
Okay, so now we can just do like a quick couple minute circle share around. Um, like you can describe what like moment you thought of, how it made you feel. Yeah, you want
I think Senator Reed.
I'm happy to break the ice. I'm just I thought back to sixth grade and we had a terrific sixth grade teacher, great teachers all the way through. But this particular teacher did a big end of the year play with all the students. And it was just great in terms of building student confidence. They had to do all sorts of things out of our comfort zone. He was very encouraging and warm about it. I just remember it quite well.
I can go next, because I could tell Senator Machine is still thinking.
Oh, I've got mine, I was just.
You wanna go?
Sure, yeah, so. A meaningful experience, so yeah, in college, I took a class, it was a night class about Lord of the Rings. And it was a English lit class, really just for a few extra credits. And I took the class for granted and I assumed everything was gonna go totally fine, and so I didn't put as much effort into it. Compared to all my other classes, ended up getting a C in the class because the professor took it very, very seriously. And basically just learned don't take any subject matter for granted.
We passed the literacy bill today up in the Senate, and it's been making me think about how I learned to read, and I couldn't help but go back to my first grade class at Central School in South Burlington with Miss Coughlin, who I just remember her kind of being next to me and like helping me sound out my words. And that's how I learned to read.
Fifth or sixth grade history teacher, really motivated, totally into the topic, totally into the kids, all of us getting something out of it, personal basis. So I could see right then that teaching was a profession and not all teachers are created equal, but this guy was something really special.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Is there a senator that's on?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Senator Williams, are you there? May have stepped away.
Okay,
Thank you.
or be inclusive.
And maybe just think of like one word, that like you notice that some of these experiences like have in common. Yeah, I personally noticed like a lot around education, which is very important.
I was just thinking growth. Like I feel like growth, learning how to read or realizing that you can't take classes for granted. I just think that word came up.
A word that comes up for me is respect. Some of my most important teachers at the time, I didn't necessarily like them very much because they pushed me hard, but I respected them, and I think that's kind of what stuck with me over time.
Growth, I agree with you, that sounds like a good word for it.
I like growth, respect, yeah.
You repeat the question.
Yeah, just think of like maybe one word that you notice these experiences like have in common.
First word was respect. So I respect people who are highly motivated in their subject matter. Thanks. Respect. Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to do amazing or should I?
Well, we're gonna transfer to the video and then we'll do that. Yeah, so thank you both. So, on December 7th, you all received an invitation. I know not everyone was available to attend.
And we were here at the State House, youth and adults from across the state in a variety of roles to celebrate the 10th anniversary of 77 Flexible Pathways. And there was a planning team that planned that event on December 7th that consisted of the Agency of Education. Pat Fitzsimmons is here as a representative of that team. Carolyn Weir from McClure Foundation, the Vermont Principal Association, Ashley Newton is on Zoom from Vermont Virtual Learning Cooperative and Up for Learning, my organization as well. So there was a group of us that came together to realize this is the 10th year, and we want to make sure that we lift up the spirit and intent of this really important legislation and have a day where we can all gather together to learn from the past 10 years and then think ahead to what the next 10 years might bring. So if it's okay for me to share my screen, I'm gonna share a video that highlights that day. And gives you more of a feel for it.
Great.
Mute. Do I have to unmute or will the sound come through?
Sure.
Try it.
Do you have your sound phone? Maybe you should.
Let me turn, do you turn yours off?
Yeah.
So, we wanted to give you a feel for the day and thank you for letting us use your place of work, for that, great celebration and sharing opportunity. So now we're gonna hear from this whole group here about what it looks like for them. We have folks here from various stages in their educational journey. I just want to start, well, I think we could go in order. I can read Maisie's when we get there. We have one of our, youth that could not be here because she's actually at UVM in her class right now. So I have something to read from her. So we can advance probably a couple now. And we'll go to Olivia.
Um, so yeah, I introduced myself earlier, but I will again. So my name is Olivia Siri. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a freshman at CVU High School. I personally have benefited a lot from Act 77. And feel like I've been able to extend my learning on a lot of topics in a lot of different ways. You see my slide, there's UC Scout on there, which is like an online program through the University of California. I have David Superman on there because he came to my school and gave a little presentation, and I was able to miss class to go to that. And there's other opportunities like that at CVU. There's the cover slide to my my PLP. And so I'm kind of gonna go into detail on a couple of the things that I've been able to experience. Last year I had the opportunity to take an accelerated math class through UC Scout. And it's allowed me to skip into a higher level class at CVU. And then recently I enrolled myself in another extra math course through UC Scout, and I'll finish that in August. And as a sophomore, I'll be going, if everything goes right, I'll be going to AP Calculus next year. I've also been able to work with Up for Learning, and sometimes I have to step out of class to attend meetings. My teachers have been like spectacular at working with my schedule, and they've just like supported me the whole way through. They've offered like a bunch of alternatives so I can stay up to par in the classroom while also getting to experience opportunities like this. Inside of the school, Act 77 has made it so that we have access to a PLP, which is a personalized learning portfolio, and CVU also offers a class called Nexus Seminar, which is a flexible learning environment course. In the future, I am looking forward to taking that class, where hopefully I can do an independent study of my choice, which will be most likely focused around youth leadership and voice. Act 77 is really important to me because it's allowed me, as well as many other people, to go through personalized courses with support from the school. And it's made me feel a lot more seen, like in the classroom, by my educators, and has definitely helped me to become really excited about my learning. I've enjoyed learning from a young age, but once I started taking like advantage of the resources that we have in Vermont with Act 77, my level of engagement has definitely increased. And yeah, overall, without Act 77, I don't think I'd be able to access the programs that I really enjoy doing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And our next slide, Ethan.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ethan Stanmore. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm also a freshman at CVU. Act 77 opened up so many more opportunities for me as a student that I probably couldn't get elsewhere. CVU's RISE program, Reflective Interest-Based Student Experiences, gives students the opportunity to explore interest within and outside of the school community. So this June, I'm gonna be helping teach younger kids how track meets work, what goes into them, and then putting on a track meet for them. And I'll also be exploring small businesses in the Chittenden County area. Some other RISE sessions include hiking, photography, Dungeons and Dragons, lifeguard and CPR certification. And it really ranges to all kinds of student interests to make sure every student in the CVU building can spend the last 2 weeks of the school year doing something that they're interested and passionate about. Another thing from Act 77, POPs or personalized learning portfolios are a way for students to share their accomplishments and goals with teachers, parents, advisors. And students can also share other important parts of their lives like sports, family, friends, hobbies, anything that they really want to share on their portfolios they can share. And I know for many students, me included, sometimes have a difficult time focusing in a classroom setting and building connections with their teachers. And with Act 77, it gives students the opportunity to create connections with teachers or adults in the building and exploring interests that they couldn't explore cooped up in a classroom, learning the typical school stuff. Personally, myself, I want to be a future business owner, and my RISE session gives me that opportunity to learn what goes into making that hope of mine a reality. And for many other students, RISE gives them that same opportunity. And I believe that's what's so important about flexible pathways and Act 77 is with opportunities created from Act 77, students can really show their creativity and express themselves in a way that they probably couldn't anywhere else. And that's all I think.
Great. Good luck with the track meet.
Thank you.
Olivia, next slide.
Hi, so I am Olivia Sternberg. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a sophomore at Montpelier High School down the road. Yeah, so my journey with flexible pathways really started in like middle school, which is kind of different than other people's. Like in 7th grade was when I was really first exposed to like all of the available like learning opportunities, and I recognized that other kids used to not have these when they were like a few years ago before Act 77 was passed. Like one of these was involving like CPS, the organization, which is like Cultivating Pathways to Sustainability, which is connected with Up for Learning. And it helped me make a sustainability class that is now taught at the middle school for all different, for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I like the opportunities that I had, like creating the curriculum and like going out in public and learning about how sustainability is like in like how that is implemented into schools and should be implemented more often. And it was really interesting just to learn about the impacts that schools have on the environment. And I learned a lot like relating to science. And yeah, so that was 7th and 8th grade was when I was a part of that. And it also encouraged me to take like facilitation roles from 7th grade and beyond. Like I became more of an extroverted person, I feel like, because I was so used to presenting due to like me having to present at these meetings related to the class that I was on board with making at the middle school. And like my teachers were very supportive, like excusing me from school, like giving me opportunities to like of leadership and facilitation roles more often throughout my school day. And then now at the high school at MHS, yeah, so these are the different opportunities that are at the high school on this list. I took this from the website. I have not done like most of these because I'm only a sophomore. Most of these are available to juniors and seniors. But one of the things that my school does that I think is really like amazing is the PLS, which is a personal learning study. And it's kind of similar to the RISE thing that you guys do at CVU. And it's basically like a self-paced course of your own choosing for any kind of credit that you want. And one of my friends, Gardner, on the slide right there, it's a little bit of a silly picture, but he did a PLS for his cross-country season this fall. And it's like, if you can do it for one semester or for both semesters throughout the school year. And he got a PE credit by running and keeping track and making his own like summatives, like tests for something that he was personally interested in. And he got credit for it, so didn't have to take the school gym classes because he doesn't tend to do well in larger environments like that. And it was really cool, like seeing how some of my other friends have done these too, like using their interests to really give them like using that to their advantage in class if they do not work well in personal, like in class settings. And I really think that Act 77 is so important. It's allowed me, like I said earlier, to become a more extroverted person, more confident, and like giving me more opportunities to do things like this. And like another thing that is up on there is CBLs, like which are community-based learning. And that's something that you can do, like again, junior and senior year. So I have signed up to do one for next year, my junior year, where you can like shadow the kind of job that you would like to pursue in the future as a possibility to kind of see if you would be interested in that field, actually like seeing it in action. So one thing I'm going to do next year is shadow social worker. And because I've kind of been inspired by like the sort of practices and the like sustainability work that I worked on in middle school really carried me along and helped me realize that I feel a connection with working with people. So I think it's really cool that I can utilize that and have it be a part of my schoolwork where I can like really explore, see if it's something that I really want to pursue. And I think it's very important I kind of looked out with my brain and how it works in a school setting. So I can usually adapt to many different teachers' learning or teaching styles. But like so many of these things that are available at my school are really good opportunities like for alternative teaching methods and learning methods for non-traditional learners, which I think is very important to have implemented in schools. And yeah, it's pretty much.
Thank you. Wow, very good.
Next up is Mary. Slide.
Welcome.
Hi guys, I'm Mary and I'm a junior at Munsey High School and Center for Technology at 6. I thought the CT was for that. And this is my journey with Act 77. So Munsey has this class called iLab where you can do anything you want and like your program sorry, fine. You can take whatever class, like do whatever you want, and then you can get credit for it. So for my freshman year, I did that class because I want to have more fun freshman year. And I took, for the first semester, I did Japanese. It's because Munsey doesn't have a Japanese class, so I really want to take Japanese that year, I don't know why. And they paid the class for me. That was like $200, and I thought that was really nice. And then the next semester, I want to learn about forensic science. So they gave me a bunch of books and pictures and stuff for me to do that. And then I did a bunch of case studies. And throughout the process, the teachers really supported me in my learning. And during all that, I realized I also want to do something in the healthcare setting. But the problem was that Munsey doesn't have any classes that cater to that. And so my sophomore year, I did pre-tech 3 at CTE. And that class prepares you, it's the human services, so prepares you to a bunch of human services like cooking, child education, and the healthcare setting. And during all that, it was very hands-on, and I got to learn a lot of stuff and a lot of careers that I can possibly have in the near future. And then now in my junior year, I did the health professions program at CTV. And those classes have helped me prepare for my future goal as a healthcare worker. And I really like how hands-on health professions have been so far. Like recently we just did phlebotomy, so I did a bunch of like blood draws. If you guys if you need any testing, I got you. And then we also work on mannequins as patients, as you can see in that picture. But in that one, we went to the Vermont Technical College, and we did a bunch of care on mannequins. So that mannequin was pregnant, and we were giving delivery. I mean, helping her give delivery. And on top of that, I'm also taking a CCP class at
But I'm also able to take CCV classes as a high schooler, and those are college classes. And the class I'm taking right now is statistics. And in my senior year, I plan on doing early college. So that gives me 1 year of college. And all of these opportunities have challenged my learning and helped me take classes that I otherwise wouldn't have able to at regular school. And otherwise, my classes would also just been the regular slideshows, worksheet, and listen to the teacher. But not everyone learns like that. I know I don't like that. But I've been able to do all this, all thanks to Act 77.
Great.
Thank you.
Ms. Humphrey, how are we doing with time and witnesses?
Okay, we've got Ivy and Donovan and Maisie really quick. So maybe like, how much time do you, and we wanted to give you some time for questions too.
Right.
So
Yep,
how
I
much
think
time?
we pushed our witness to 2:15.
Great, okay, great, we can do it, we can do it all. All right, Ivy's next. The next slide.
Hello, my name's Ivy Manchester. I am a student at Otter Valley Union High School, and I am a part of the Moosamaloo program. Moosamaloo is a 3-year program, so there's Lower Moosamaloo, which is for 9th graders, and it's kind of like an introduction to like what we do in Upper Moosamaloo. This is my final year, so I have been able to learn all kinds of things like rock climbing, winter camping. Things go well next week, I will be Wilderness First Aid certified. I would not have been able to be a part of this program without Act 77, and it's changed my life, to be honest. Like, become a lot more confident and willing to take risks, and just being here, I would never be able to do without like confidence this program has given me. And so Moosamaloo gives students an opportunity to like learn in a less traditional way. So like we're still learning all our subjects, like social studies and science, but it's just mixed in with everything else. I learned about Moosamaloo when I was in 3rd grade, because we have elementary outreaches where we reach out to local elementary schools. We bring them here to Otter Valley for a day, and we teach them about what we've been learning. So I was able to do that when I was in 3rd grade. And ever since then, I wanted to be a part of this program. Even though like I was in 3rd grade, I didn't pick up a lot during that. I was excited to be outside, but Moosamaloo is so much more than just going outside and like fooling around and whatever. Like I've learned life skills that many of my peers would never know. You're doing really nervous.
No, you're doing so well. I wanna get out there on the canoe with you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was my overnight, the first overnight this year. And we spent the night out on the Connecticut River, which was amazing. And then I had a rock climbing trip, which is what the second picture is about. And I went back last summer and climbed that cliff with my uncle. I wouldn't have known it existed without Moosamaloo. And then the picture of me is on Mount Washington, which was the day after my 16th birthday. So we went up and we spent the night, and we almost got to the top, but it was too foggy. And I would have never been able to do that without Act 77 and Moosamaloo. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Donovan, who's on Zoom. And it'd be the next slide. We just need to unmute Donovan.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, hello guys. My name is Donovan. I use he, him pronouns. I'm currently a senior at Richford Junior Senior High School. but I'm also a freshman at CCV before the early college program that I'm in. On top of doing early college, I'm also a part of the free degree program, which basically means that if I stay at CCV for 2 years, I can basically get a free associate's degree. I kind of just jumped right into that already, so. But so the way how I've been able to get into these programs is, through Act 77, letting me be able to take a step further into my education, and rather than spending my time at, doing my traditional senior year at high school, I can really expand what I'm wanting to learn right now, and just pursue what I really want to do. That's why I couldn't come in today, because I'm currently, one of my classes is for me to do an internship, and that's where I currently am at the moment at my internship location. Um, on top of being able to further pursue higher education my senior year, I've been able to still partake in like school activities. The bottom two pictures on my slide are from my final dance season this year, ended last month. Those were me and my team shortly before we went to go perform our pom routine. And then my instruments, those are what I play in the school band that they still let me partake in. And finally, something else that being able to go do early colleges is during like my free time, I'm still able to work and like earn money so that when I transfer out of CCV and go to pursue further education for like my bachelor's, I can save up that money. And I currently work sorry, at one of my, so my, sorry, I'm all over the place. My internship is a part of Notch, which has a whole bunch of different buildings and facilities. And one of their places is Main Street Market, which is right below me actually. And that's where I work during the day outside of my school hours. Um, so yeah, that's basically a lot that Act 77 has helped for me and be able to achieve outside of normally just sitting in a classroom all day learning in a traditional high school.
Very cool. Thank you, Donovan.
Terrific.
And finally, the next slide is Maisie, who was hoping to be here on Zoom, but she's at UVM and had a class that she had to attend. And so what you've heard so far is the journey from basically from freshman year or even middle school, talking about middle school, to now Maisie, who is post high school and is in her first year at UVM. And what she said, I wanted to share a bit about my journey through high school and college. I feel so incredibly lucky to have been able to learn under Act 77 in high school with opportunities like dual enrollment and flexible pathways. I entered college with skills, knowledge, and experience and college credits that I would never have been able to attain solely through high school. I was able to become a strong leader and public speaker. I was prepared for networking and creating meaningful connections, and I had a chance to explore my interests. In high school, I co-taught and planned courses, which eventually led to a finished curriculum being implemented throughout the state. I'll just add my own little editorial. Maisie graduated from Harwood Union. I graduated last year feeling ready to take on jobs, classes, and real life situations. This learning was a progression throughout high school and is what makes me so grateful to have grown up in Vermont and inspires me to push for education standards like ours all around the country. Thank you. That's Maisie Franke, who is currently in her class at UVM. And I just want to, before we turn it over to questions, I want to turn it over to Ashley, who's on Zoom, and then Natalie, and we can see what time we have, Carolyn, and to hear a little bit of the perspective from, you heard from youth, to hear the adult perspective as well. So Ashley, over to you. And there's no slide for this one, so you can just Ashley.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share my experience. As noted earlier, I am the co-director of the Vermont Virtual Learning Cooperative and going to chime in on the Act 77 and the impact of flexible pathways for virtual and online learning. So Act 77 is important to continue to champion because it promotes equitable access to education by providing students with a diverse learning opportunities, one of which includes online and virtual ed. This is particularly important for students who may not thrive in a traditional classroom settings or who require flexibility due to personal circumstances. We heard that from many of you who shared your educational experience. What were those moments when you got to interact in a play, when someone sat down next to you to teach you how to read? These are the exciting parts. Act 77 supports personalized learning, allowing students to learn at their own pace and in ways that suit their individual learning styles. Online and virtual learning platforms can offer tailored experiences, catering to each student's needs and interests. We are always excited when students come to us and say, I have a passion to learn about this. Let's create an independent project. Or we don't offer AP Physics, or we don't have this class, but this is an area that I want to look at. Can you offer this class? And we do. In addition, which we've seen today from the fine young students who have presented, Act 77 is essential for developing executive functioning skills, such as digital literacy, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. Act 77's support for these modes of learning ensures that students are prepared for the demands of the modern workforce. In addition to this, in our increasing digital world, proficiency in online and virtual environments is essential. Act 77's emphasis on these modes of learning help prepare students for higher ed and future careers, where online tools and technologies are in use. In conclusion, from my experience here at the Vermont Virtual Learning Cooperative, Act 77 has promoted access to an equity, personalized learning, and the development of these executive functioning skills. It fosters innovation, adaptability, resilience, and continuity in education. I look forward to seeing what the next 10 years of Act 77 will provide to the state and to the students that we serve. Thank you.
Natalie, would you?
Hi, I'm Natalie Searle. I'm the Director of Secondary Education Initiatives at the Community College of Vermont. And you've heard a number of students talk about CCV already today, and we're so happy for the role we can provide in supporting students through their journeys at CCV. We're offering 150 classes in high schools and technical centers just this semester. So it's done wonders in terms of providing access for students. There's sort of three areas where I think Act 77 has had benefits across the state: students, programs, and partnerships. So for students, since 2013, more students have access to opportunities that allow them to connect their educational journey to their personal goals. Act 77 empowers students to find their purpose and connect with mentors, community members, teachers, employers, and others to help them envision and create lives for themselves in the future in Vermont. As far as programs are concerned, at CCV, we see students from middle school access days right through dual enrollment, Fast Forward, which is our partnership with technical centers, and then early college, and then the free degree promise. So these programs allow students to start as early as 6th grade and access free opportunities right through an associate degree program right now. So we're so happy to be able to allow students access to post-secondary education. And then in terms of partnerships, flexible pathways really open the doors for different constituents to start working together. CCV works in partnership now with almost every high school and technical center in the state. But we also see parents connecting with school counselors, community leaders, providing opportunities to schools, and then more integration between the colleges across the state in terms of supporting students. Act 77, for example, says that if students earn dual enrollment credit at one college in Vermont, all the other colleges that participate in the program have to accept that credit. So it's created some wonderful partnerships across the state. And I think continuing to promote Act 77 for the next 10 years will provide just an amazing opportunity for students, schools, and the communities in Vermont. So, thank you. And I might have exceeded my 1 minute.
No, this is.
Carol?
Yes. Does the committee have any questions right now? We're getting close to, I want to give people a breather for our next witness. Nothing right now. Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
Carolyn, would you like to go?
Oh, great.
And then we'll just talk about our last slide, which is recommendation from the board, and then we'll open it for questions if there are any.
Yep.
And we will be done by 2:15.
Great. To speak through it, hi everyone, Carolyn Weir, Executive Director of the McClure Foundation. We're an affiliate of the Vermont Community Foundation that works to close opportunity gaps here in Vermont by making post-secondary education the easy choice. And it has been a no-brainer for us to support the equitable and meaningful implementation of this legislation for the past 10 years. And that's been the bulk of our work as a grant maker here in Vermont. We've learned a lot through supporting the implementation of this bill in the past 10 years. Our grant making is focused both on supporting the capacity of CCV to deliver some of these programs alongside the full continuum of youth and secondary education programs as Vermont's access institution. But it also looks like dozens and dozens of easy access mini grants to schools all across the state. Mini grants that are in alignment with the occupational projections data coming out of the administration of the Vermont Department of Labor. This bill informs really almost everything that we do. And 10 years in, the biggest learning that we have, I guess there are two. Number one, there are huge strides being made right now in equitable access of many of these flexible pathways. And for us as a foundation, that means we're excited to recommit at this anniversary as well, in the same way we hope legislators do too.
So if I may just ask on that theme, so if we brought some of the poorest high schools in, would we have the same quality in terms of presentations and access, do you think?
Well, I think
Even what from your vantage point and the way that the McClure Foundation's investing.
so. Flexible pathways means a lot of different things to different people, right? For some people, it's a mindset and a cultural approach to learning. For others, it's a set of state administered and funded programs. For others, it's a school-based program. And for some folks in the public K-12 system, it's a part of their job title, right?
Yeah.
Flexible Pathways is showing up in all schools. And when we assessed some of the access data that is available statewide for some state administered programs, we've been really excited to see things like a 70% increase in early college enrollment at CCV over the past 18 months and double the number of first generation college students. And digging into, okay, where are there still gaps? Participation among young men, some gaps regionally in parts of the state. And where there are gaps, what are those young people doing? We were just invited to participate in a Gates Foundation supported national movement to equitably scale accelerated pathways to free associate degrees. And they're helping us get closer to proximate boys and understand what that work might look like. I'll leave it at that.
Great, thank you.
So if we could go back to the slides for a moment, and then we'll wrap it up. And while we're going back to the slides, I just want to share, in my previous role, I was an educator. You haven't heard the educator voice really. So I was a 15-year middle level educator before I joined Up for Learning. So I just want to share really quickly that I was grateful to be part of the public education system here in Vermont, both pre and post Act 77. And in 2009, backed up by all that strong vision and policy that I shared earlier, I was basically gifted the opportunity to co-found the Educademy, which was a school within a school at Essex Middle School. This was transformation of education, and these practices were celebrated and really encouraged. And that means that it wasn't, I think, we often think of high school journey. So Act 77 is that all 7th through 12th graders will have a personalized learning plan that allows them to explore flexible pathways. And it should go beyond, it should go before 7th grade too. So these practices are best practices. So I just wanted to share that piece, and one quick story before we get to our recommendations, and then we'll definitely be wrapped up. So even before, in 2009, before Act 77 in 2013, the young people that I worked with in 5th through 8th grade had personalized learning plans, proficiency-based assessment, and were provided opportunities to explore different pathways. These are 5th through 8th graders. This is before Act 77. So these are practices that we know are really important for all young people, and they're equitable practices. And the other day I ran into father of a student that I had almost a decade ago. As a middle schooler, Michaela, she was very passionate about drawing and writing. And I ran in and social justice. And during her student-led personalized learning plan conferences that happen throughout the year, and I was her advisor. Her and her family and I would sit and talk about how she could enhance her skills and really pursue her passions and work on the issues that were challenges. Well, now, fast forward 9 years later, I ran into her father. She's now a junior at Savannah College of Art and Design, pursuing writing and drawing. And I think that that just shows, as you heard from all these stories here, that when given the opportunity to explore these passions and not saying, stop writing on the desk or, writing it, doodling or whatever it is, that when people have the opportunity to explore passions, they actually follow those pathways. And here she is in her final year at STAD. So recommendations came out of this, the celebration. You can see them all here. You can see kind of who was here by the numbers and the data that came out of the day, along with the commitments that we hope to see ripple out. But really what it means is continuing to explore, support, and strengthen connections between schools and community partners. We need to continue to develop and share and create resources for Act 77 related concepts that came out loud and clear throughout the day. And we want to ensure that there's increased access to flexible pathways, particularly for those that are in smaller programs at schools or for supporting innovative individuals or schools that don't have as many, or as you said, are as resources as other schools. So continuing to increase access. 2:15.
Great.
Wrapped it up.
And I think what we'll do with questions is we will break. We have other witnesses coming in, so during the break, if people have questions, they can mix and mingle with the students and we'll come back